We'll move on to this panel. Like I said earlier also, we were talking about, while we were talking about policy in the earlier panel, we did end on the point about the impact of technology, about the impact on blockchain, for example, in the real estate land records, as was suggested by Gulam Zia. So, you know, I'll start off, which also Sarthak, as he mentioned, he is initially started working at Tata Realty. So that is something I'm sure you and him can chat about later. But if you look specifically on this panel, and from the perspective, Sarthak, I'd like to start with you only, on how you're coming from a large developers space. How deeply is PropTech integrated into core business operations rather than just being support system, या सिर्फ नाम के लिए? You know, I'm playing devil's advocate with you, but how important is it? How much is it included in the core of your functioning?
Okay, I think it's a gradual journey, if you'll ask me, in terms of integrating PropTech. And today, while we say integrating PropTech, I think it itself is an ecosystem. So I can actually say it's like if you would have asked me almost a decade back, I would have said exactly the same thing what you said, chalta hai. But today I think without this, you just cannot do anything. It's an entire ecosystem. And when you look onto a real estate cycle, which is like from your land procurement to the last mile delivery to the CRM, I think PropTech is in every bit now. It is all about how the organizations are actually leveraging this in each and every step, so to say. So today, I don't know how many of the developers would be really taking PropTech into consideration while finalizing a certain land. A lot of them actually will come back and tell you that, okay, yes, we are investing quite heavily when it comes to sales and marketing as a function, because that is where people have really realized the real efficiencies in the game as of now. So it completely depends upon that what cycle you are in as a developer and how much you're invested into the technology per se. But what I would say is it's an integral part, and you just cannot do away with PropTech now. And in the long run, I believe most of the investments are going to be towards technology into real estate as well. So just to give you like a small context, because PropTech again runs very, very wide, because it is that you might have in the construction, probably you might be using those BIM models. In terms of sales and marketing, you might be using sales clouds, marketing clouds and everything. And there are a lot of other platforms, so on and so forth. But the evolution of real estate itself is like it's from a physical to digital. And again, tech is the next part of digital itself. So this model itself is very phygital now. So there are no more physical things which are there when it comes to real estate. Everything is phygital. So even the discovery starts from digital first, and then the physical thing really starts, right? So I think it's an integral part for all of us now.
Okay, I'll take this ahead to Sumesh. And Sumesh, your company name only has PropTech in it. But again, I'll play a little devil's advocate with you also. What is something that developers are underestimating about PropTech and that they should be focusing on, and that you feel people aren't focusing on?
Yeah, so as Sarthak said, you know, we are trying, and the developers are taking efforts to bring innovation in terms of the various touch points with the customer. But, you know, the one basic question which I ask everyone is, today if I ask you how many apps do you have on your phone? You know, we all have 3 or 4 apps which are compulsorily there on our phone. One will be our banking app. Second will be our maybe a stock market or any stock trading or mutual fund trading related app. Third will be maybe a food delivery app. Fourth will be a cab or you know, a taxi app on your phone. Now, every one of us, I think 50-60% of our net worth would be in real estate, or the major net worth of everyone, as the analysis says, 45 to 50% of our net worth of an individual in India, and even in the HNI segment, is in real estate. But how many of us have a real estate app on our phones? That, I think, clearly tells us that the B2C part is clearly missing in our industry. A lot of B2B initiatives have been taken between the developers, between the designers today, even the CRMs and other apps which facilitate the execution process between the developers and various vendors. But when it comes to builder to customer, the B2C app, we don't have anything right now. I think at most every one of us has a MyGate application, which is by default compulsorily there on our phones to facilitate entry or maybe security reasons or maybe booking a clubhouse in our complexes. But apart from that, as real estate is growing towards a $1 trillion economy, our PropTech industry is still, some way, behind this, and may struggle to reach 100 billion in the next few years. One major reason is lack of initiatives on the B2C side. So at Lighthouse, we are trying to create various touch points where hopefully the usage of tech for the customers, and especially in the luxury and uber luxury segment, becomes a necessity rather than just a convenience or just an enabler.
Okay, that's quite an interesting take. You missed social media apps in your list of 4 and 5, but we'll leave that for a later conversation.
That goes without saying, actually. That is right now, probably the number one app.
Yeah, the most screen time is definitely social media. But yeah, I get your point on the real estate part, which is quite an interesting take, and definitely it shows that there is an opportunity for somebody to come up with a great business idea in that space. Rajiv, just carrying on with you, from where you're seated with Adani Realty, how is technology reshaping the home buyer journey, particularly when these are these large scale projects that have scale, consistency at their core? How are you seeing technology changing or reshaping that home buyer's journey?
See, I think let's understand the category. I think it's part of the roti kapda makan, but still, there are a lot of aspiration to get that makan in a metro city. That's a category. And second part is that this is a product. I think this is the only category you don't see the product when you buy. You see the product after 4 years, 5 years, if you're lucky, and then you get the handover of the product. In a category which is not there, you are selling dreams. That's where the customer is looking for experience. And the experience is that something that if we can do it physically or digitally, customer is happy to get to the close to the reality. And when it comes to that experience part, I think today the developers, A-grade developers are doing very well in terms of making sure that the digital aspects are being taken care. Also, there is a mix of digital and physical, purely from the point of view what Sumesh was talking about. We have that opportunity in B2C to get more digital aspects in terms of connecting to the consumer end users. But one thing you have to keep in mind, this is a category which is bought once, twice, or thrice. Or maybe the investor rotates it, but that again also in limited number. So that's where the mobile app usage will be very less. And that's why you'll see the developers making the mobile app in the facility management side, where the usage is more. But today, if you see a lot of developers are making a phygital aspects. As in, we call it as phygital purely from the point of view, when you are selling or the pre-booking happens at the site, you have to give that experience of the product which is going to be ready in next 4 or 5 years. We put a physical scale model to explain the project and the product, but that is linked to the future through digital aspects. So if you get inside the physical model, you'll be able to see the digital aspects, how the future is going to be. So that combination, today I think the best way to explain the category is a phygital model. I think it's a mix of both. You cannot ignore physical, because I think at the end of the day, what Sarthak was talking about, the search, the discovery happens digitally, but that discovery gets into physical. We are not able to push so much of sales digitally. There are NRIs who are selling it, or maybe 10 to 12% of customers are comfortable selling, completely digitally, but that physical aspect is there. Yeah, and that's why as a developer, we spend time, money to create that experience at the site. And that experience, we have done a digital way of creating experience, and that is phygital. I think there is a lot of development which has happened on the real estate to make sure that commodity has become a branded category now. And today you'll see lot of customer, they come, they experience the product, and the buying decision becomes easier for them. So what used to be 2 months, 3 months, I think it has come down to 30 days to 45 days. And that is where the digital is helping. Because we have been able to give that experience through digital medium, through PropTech.
Correct, because I mean that first discovery digitally, but very, मतलब mostly आके वो दीवार देखनी है, आपका show flat देखना ही है लोगों को, to get that mix of digital and physical.
I think it's a touch. I think
That
it's still
touch.
that feel and touch aspect of, and showing it to my parents, my family, my relatives, I think that is still there. I think the referral.
It's, in a way, it is an outing to go see the flat that you want to possibly invest in. मतलब from a point of view कि पूरा परिवार आएगा.
Also the decision. I think it's not a one person who takes the decision. I think it's a family, or maybe it's a joint family, or maybe friends and family.
True.
So the decision is not easy to take in real estate. I think that's where it becomes.
Sarthak and Sumesh both picked up their mic, so I just want to know if you want to have any follow-up.
I think it's all about reassuring yourself when you actually go and want to do it physically also. It's all about reassuring yourself, because like on a digital platform, you will have a certain info, but till the time I don't go onto that piece of land, I don't go and see where exactly is the location, because until unless, okay, you might see a lot of things on digital, but physical is something, it's all about reassuring yourself. So that is why it has to be a combination of both physical and digital.
Absolutely.
So I'll just add, as Rajiv said that, obviously it is a touch and feel business, but, during COVID, we saw that transactions, and India saw, I think the real estate sector got a big push during the COVID, where people were not able to go out, but they were having a virtual tour of properties, and they were actually closing deals. And you could see in the second and third leg of COVID that the deals started moving and the momentum started building up.
Just to add on the developer side, let me just, and probably Rajiv can add on to that. While we were closing the deals, but still there was a caveat that, okay, once the lockdown opens, please have a visit. Once you are assured that, okay, you want to continue with this booking, we are more than happy. But if you are not, if you want to cancel it, we are more than happy to give you 100% refund also. Right. So probably this is what Rajiv can also say. So
Absolutely.
we have sold, but again, that physical aspect comes into the picture.
100%, Sarthak. See, technology is an enabler.
Yeah.
And what happens is it gives you a convenience, starting from the touch point where you are able to compare various properties, from there on to do the technical due diligence, the legal due diligence, helping in the financial closure, that final decision making, and then the connect with the customer right from the booking to the possession, and from there on, a formation of the society or the condominium. That's a 4 to 5 year journey, as Rajiv said. So that during that 3 to 4 or 5 year journey, there are various aspects which the customer would want. And today it is happening through mails, through CRM teams, which are communicating the next payment schedule. They are giving the payment gateways for the next payments. I think, the day is not too far where the customer will have everything at a fingertip, where right from his first token or making up his mind from a virtual tour or a touch and feel finally once the decision is taken. From there on, his loan approvals, his payments, his possession timelines, the updates of the projects to the final possession, handing over to the society. I think developers are moving, the top developers have already started doing this in bits and pieces. I think by and large as a platform, for example, from our side also, we are trying to make an effort that, we give a full one-stop shop service across these, touch points for the customer, for enabling a easier and smoother transition.
Okay. Sarthak, if you're, like, you spoke about phygital and how it's running currently, but where do you see technology delivering the most tangible value? Is it, for example, on the customer service part? Do you see it in operational efficiency of how you're doing your business, or maybe long-term asset performance, or anything else?
I would say it's across. So if I look at more from a customer perspective, definitely the customer get to know that what product we are going to be bringing in, because all those AR, VRs and other things you can actually see from a customer standpoint that, okay, somewhere the customer is more aware of what product we are actually going to be delivering. From an operational perspective, which is more from our perspective, I would say my entire marketing, my sales, the funnels really get the better of it. I can say that. My efficiencies actually increase. because I know from a buyer persona perspective that, okay, buyer behavior perspective, who is my key buyers. I can today, it's all about, I can actually do my lead scoring. As soon as somebody calls me, I know from where exactly this guy is calling me. I can do the lead scoring. I can say that, okay, this is my P1 buyer. Let my best executive attend this, because I know the closure percentages are going to be better over there. So I would say it is across the platform. Like I said that, okay, PropTech, it's not just in one of those aspects, it's across the spectrum, even from a long-term perspective. And that is what I started, where I started from, that even those days are not far off where people are going to look on from a due diligence perspective. Like Ghulam said that, okay, it's all about having all your land records which are going to be digitized, right? So we are talking about blockchain. I think that is one of the key things. So once that happens, believe me, everything is going to be digitized across.
Okay.
So it's across the board.
Rajiv.
I think it's the experience. Just to add on what Sarthak is saying, I think experience is becoming critical. Wherever we can add digitally through PropTech and the experience, customer is very happy to have that experience. Second thing, I think what we have seen is the distribution changing completely. The game changer here in real estate, at least in the last 3-4 years, I think Sumesh will agree to it. He was part of one company which was leading the distribution part of it. I think the PropTech is being able to kind of completely change the game for distribution. Today, sitting in office, I can do the distribution throughout, in not only India to the outside India. I think distribution is key today real estate. 60 to 70% of our sales for a good brand comes from channel partners. And that distribution has become very easy today through PropTech. And the channel partners, they have been able to get the entire details and the experience of a project digitally. I think for me, that is the game changer completely from a distribution point of view. I can reach to the channel partner, and from a consumer point of view, the experience that we give through AR, VR, that has really been great. It is going to the next level. And then the NRI segment. We used to do a lot of road shows, to reach the NRI. Today, I think it's not required to have a road shows. It's digitally been mapped. I think those are the three critical aspects.
Oh, fantastic. Great. That's a very valid insight from both of you on that. Sumesh, which space in this, which segment do you feel is the most under-digitized, which could need most of, is ripe for innovation? Would it be like the sales part, the construction, asset management, or post-handover? Where do you think we can PropTech can make a big impact?
See, construction is primarily a B2B, phenomenon where the developer is actually, in liaison with all these vendors and the architectural team, the technical team, the execution team, the post-possession handover team. So that B2B part, I think, is very well covered in our industry. I think all the top players are doing their bit, and they are following the processes to the T. And from what we had a decade back to now, I think we've done phenomenal, innovations there. As I said, the B2C part is actually the difficult part, because that's a continuous engagement with your customer and the end user. And in terms of segment, what happens is a customer just wants to know what is happening in the project. He just wants everything at the tip of his, because his major part of his life earnings has gone into his home buying. So there he wants a comfort on a regular basis that, whether the project is moving right, कौन सा slab आ रहा है, अब payment due होने वाला है, तो, mentally he starts preparing कि next 15 दिन, 1 महीने में मेरा ये payment होने वाला है. Possession आ रही है, तो, that excitement that, my apartment is 1 year, 1.5 year. So that bit, I think what right now everybody is following is updates through, various channels. And I think someday or maybe soon, a lot of people are working on delivering that at one click, where you can show it to the family, various segments in your family. So I think around the possession and post-possession is something which developers are focusing on right now to ensure that after sales service. पहला part तो as Rajiv said that B2B model से आपने distribution बहुत अच्छा कर लिया, AR VR से आपने customer को influence कर दिया, impress कर दिया कि this is this is really the house of your the dream house. उसके बाद की journey जो होती है 4-5 साल की, that is where every touch, every comfort that you give to your audience, that is something which gets you the repeat buy or brings that loyalty to you. So post-possession and that loyalty programs, which I think the top 4 or 5 developers are doing. And I think that is something which the second tier and more and more developers would start following.
Okay, great. Rajiv, from your perspective, which innovation do you think has helped most directly improve your conversions, your customer trust, or sales velocity? Which one would you say? Would it be the AR, VR, or anything else?
I think it's, again, we get, I think for a real estate brand, getting the leads is not a challenge. I think we get, bucket full of leads. But leads to walk-in, that's one parameter that we say is the site visits that happens. That also we managed to do it through a lot of pre-sale calling that happens to the customer. That we also managed to get to the site. But I think the challenge is the site visit to sales. I think that is where good brands do 15-20%, but that 80% gap is there. That 80% gap, that is where I think today the number of leads can be reduced. Your walk-ins quality goes up because you are focusing on micro-targeting. You are not specific to the segment that you want to target. So that micro-targeting through different, PropTech modules that is available today, you can do remarketing, lookalikes and other parts. That is helping to get a quality site visits. And the quality site visit what happens at the site, we have been able to give that physical experience at the site. And that conversion ratio is going up. I think that is where that marketing spends comes down and your ROI is better. Purely from the point of view, we have been able to convert more site visits to sale, which used to be 10-15%, maybe at the 20-25% bucket that is coming. I think that is one of the big things that's happening. Second thing which we have been able to do is the customer profiling. I think real estate is a category where we have to do micro-targeting to sell a project. And profiling becomes critical. When the customer comes to the site, he doesn't buy in a first visit. He buys after visiting 2, 3, 4 times. So that is where I think the progressive profiling becomes critical. And today, with the PropTech support and the social media integration to it, and Salesforce integration to it, doing all those coverage, we have been able to do progressive profiling of the customer. So next time he comes, I know that whether he likes to go mountains or he wants to go to, sea beaches. So that I know the product proposition that I want to pitch. Or should I talk about the school or should I talk about the temple? Correct. I think the progressive profiling part with the integration of a lot of PropTech modules have been able to help us.
Which is great because in a way, the product that you are offering for example, at any of your projects is in a way standardized by way of 1 BHK, 2 BHK, 3 BHK, whatever wohi hai. But by finding out a little bit about the customer, you're able to, in a way, customize it for him or her. Because, like you said, should I talk about the school? Should I talk about the temple? Should I talk about the park?
And that helps in your conversion ratio.
Of course, of course. So I'm running out of time, but one last question to everybody on the panel. I want you to do a little crystal ball gazing. So now we're talking about phygital, so which is, the discovery is on digital, but the customer will come personally to see it. What is the one thing in the PropTech, the technology space that you feel in the next 5 or 10 years would become kind of like standardized? Like, आज अगर आप कोई भी builder के पास जाओ, you will expect कि यार website होगा या कुछ video भेजे या जो property मेरी है, like Sumesh was saying, you get that slab updates, हो रहा है, payment links come, etc. That is now standardized. Every buyer expects it. What in the next 5-10 years do you think would become every buyer will expect it?
Okay, so I think something what Rajiv has already touched, and it is not 5-10 years away. Probably it is already happening, and very fast it is happening, which is personalization and hyper-personalization. So just to add upon, like Rajiv said, that okay, whether he's wanting a school or he wants something which is like near to a railway station, whatever. So you know that as soon as a customer is even visiting your websites, you know what exactly he's scrolling, what exactly he's wanting. Immediately, I know that, okay, this person has invested probably like 10 extra minutes on one of my amenities. The next thing what happens is it's like in the 15th minute, he's actually going to get an emailer specifically for that particular thing, saying that, okay, this is what you are looking on to. So it is like he knows that, okay, immediately his attention is being caught. he knows that, okay, yes, this is the right product. I should be really looking forward to this. Even to that level, when we talk from a hyper personalization, it is like, okay, I know a consumer is actually going to be opening his mailers between 4 to 6 p.m. only on a Wednesday or a Thursday. So my mailers are actually going to hit his inbox at that particular point in time. Right? So I think it is all about how well you read that data, because it's an abundance of data what we are already getting. So how well we can dissect the data, how well we can read the data, and through these PropTech platforms and AI integrated into it now, I think it's like there is no limit to it. So for me, it's both personalization and hyper personalization, which we are already experiencing right now.
Okay, fantastic. Somesh?
Okay. So I think 2 or 3 things. The number one thing I think which will standardize across developers would be inventory. How do you showcase your inventory? हम लोग रियल एस्टेट में जैसे सेल्स कर रहे हैं तो फर्स्ट डे बोलते हैं तो सोल्ड आउट है, या जो प्रीमियम इन्वेंट्री है उसको हम ट्रांसपेरेंसी. सो द नंबर वन थिंग, रियल एस्टेट इज अ ट्रस्ट बेस्ड बाय, आप अपनी पूंजी लगा रहे हो तो यू नो दैट यू नीड 2 or 3 confirmations और ट्रस्ट फैक्टर ऑन द डेवलपर. सो वन इज, जो मुझे इन्वेंट्री चाहिए या मुझे एक पूरा आइडिया मिल रहा है कि ये इन्वेंट्री है और मुझे इसमें से जो मुझे पसंद है वास्तु के हिसाब से या मेरे टिकट साइज के हिसाब से मुझे वो इन्वेंट्री दिख रही है, और देन आई मेक अ इन्फॉर्म्ड बाइंग in terms purchase in terms of what I want to buy. Second is price discovery, especially in the mid and luxury segment. Customers, because transactions बहुत ज़्यादा और regular नहीं होते, तो lot of customers feel that whether I'm paying the right price, and they start looking for various other avenues. They start scouting कि last agreement कितने में हुआ, कितने की deals हुई हैं. So that price discovery, if they know that I have done the right decision, this is the last price or this is the average of last few months cut, pricing. So then that gives him a comfort, because or else he'll always take time in decision making, whether I'm paying the right price. And third is the legal technical aspect. Day one पे developers also feel that, एक बार transaction हो जाए फिर document दूँ, legal document बाद में दूँ, सर आप रेरा पे जाके document ले लीजिए, But if you are upfront कि सर ये document है, ये inventory है, ये price है, decision making becomes faster.
Right.
Fear of losing out on your choices, inventory, probably you miss out on. Your decision making, as Rajiv said, आज जो 3, 4, 5 visits लगती है या 3, 4 sites देखते हैं, broker से पूछते हैं, relative से पूछते हैं, neighbor से पूछते हैं, that will become easy. So decision making, convenience, and the end-to-end, thing will become easier if these 3 things are taken care of.
Fantastic. Rajiv, your last word.
I think there are 2 aspects. One is clear that, we used to have metaverse a couple of years back, and people thought that real estate will gain a lot of opportunity through metaverse. And some of the developers have been able to do that, to give that experience. Now, I think AI will change the entire module for sales and marketing. The way that we are doing the marketing today, the communication, Sarthak was talking about customization, completely will change through AI. And we are already seeing that, the way that AI communication is going through different platforms, including Google, Meta platforms. So that's one aspect. The second thing, I think I'm very positive about the way that real estate is getting sold to the end users and to the investors. There is something that fractional ownership is going to be a big one for real estate, and that will open up the sector to the investor who are not able to buy certain luxury segment or say premium segment or different locations. That will open up. I think fractional ownership in real estate, in residential segment, through REITs, like REITs, will be a big one for real estate going forward. I think that's something we are looking forward to.
Fantastic. Thank you so much to the 3 gentlemen. Those were some great insights and a beautiful way to end the panel by doing a bit of crystal ball gazing. Round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, for the panel.
That's absolutely right, ladies and gentlemen. Let's all have our PropTech experts gather for a group photo op. I think this last conversation has certainly helped prove that the era of PropTech is no longer around the corner. The era of PropTech has arrived. And before we let our panelists go, if I could please have our moderators, Sumit Lakutia, present each of our panelists with a small token of our appreciation, our way of saying thank you from the etnow.in Realty and Conclave Awards and Team 2026 West Edition. Excellent. Sarthak, Sumesh, and Rajiv. You've truly done justice to the conversation. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Keep an eye out for that real estate outlook, the 3 pillars of which are PropTech, innovation, and future opportunities. Thank you so much.